snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. This is the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to The Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews.
Ben Hansen and Matt Hartman, actually. Yes, as you guys can see, Ryan is not here today. He's having some health issues. His teeth are kind of killing him, so we thought it wasn't, he was good. It's the benefit of having a third co-host now.
He's ducking.
Yeah, he's ducking. That's what it is. He's scared to talk about, OSU going to lose. So, but how was your holidays? How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's this past week I've watched a lot of football. I think there's been too much football on since Christmas. We don't need Christmas NFL. I think just so many games. I mean, we had one on Christmas night. We had one that Thursday. We had Saturday. We had Sunday. It's just sometimes this is easy for the NFL. We got 2 days, 2 games on Saturday. But
yeah. No, I agree. I think if Christmas happens to fall on a day of football, like Monday, Thursday, or Sunday, that's one thing. But there's no need to be doing all that. But I will say the Netflix broadcast held up better than I thought it was going to, especially after watching the Tyson fight. What was it, a couple months ago? The Netflix held up much better than I thought it was going to.
Well.
Yeah. But without Ryan, we will kind of just jump right into this last week of football, and we will start with the Christmas games. Neither of them being either particularly close, and we'll do both of them, and then we can talk about either of them. The Chiefs beat the Steelers 29-10, and the Ravens beat the Texans 31-2. Again, both games pretty much from the get-go did not seem like they were going to be close. I don't know if you had a chance to watch either of those due to it being Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, you catch the glimpse here and there. You throw it on the TV. The Chiefs, I watched it back the next day. The Chiefs look like the Chiefs again on offense, just hyper efficient, moving down the field. Everything looks easy, and they'll hit those timing shots, those explosives down the field, because it looked easy against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh couldn't move the ball. Their offensive running the ball and gaining 4 yards a pop and hitting deep shots to George Pickens is not working anymore.
No.
And then Lamar dominated. It was the Lamar show. There was something funny about Texans losing, 35-2 instead of 35-0. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, 31-2. The safety was
yeah.
It was kind of a comical joke. It was, I don't know what happened to the offensive line, but the Texans do not look like the same team that they were this year. And I mean, what was it? We all had them going to the AFC Championship game. Didn't you have them winning it?
Yeah, I was confident in this team taking another leap, and it just didn't happen.
It's sad.
And the defense is good. That's the problem.
Yeah, this offense is awful, and for those, this was 2 weeks ago now. Prayers up to Tank Dell. He absolutely just destroyed his knee. I think it was UCL or ACL, LCL, meniscus, just the whole 9 yards. I think he's going to be out for the entirety of next season too. Yeah. And you really have to feel for the guy with how much he has been through over, in terms of injuries. being shot, and then he messed up his knee.
Yeah, he broke his leg before the playoffs last year.
Yeah, it was. You have to feel for the guy. I genuinely feel bad for him. But we'll see if they have anything to fight for when it comes in terms of playoffs, because it's not looking too good for them right now. That's for sure. So, and then Thursday night might be the worst football game I have ever watched in my entire life. It was awful. It was the Seahawks versus the Bears. It looked like a baseball game. Seahawks ended up winning 6-3 in a game that was just horrific to watch. I ended up turning it off. I don't know. It's okay. I ended up turning it off because it just wasn't even fun to watch. It just was not even fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, my solo podcast host here. Yeah, I mean, Seahawks Bears. I think there was one combined red zone possession for each teams, and it was the Seahawks on the first drive of the game. It was just, and then like Mike McDonald he decided to get in his bag and say the Bears aren't scoring a touchdown tonight, and they didn't, and he pitched a shutout, and Caleb made some plays here and there, but the overloading the line of 7-8 guys on the line and just all of them creating edge pressure while dropping out the interior guys like the linebackers. So it's only a 5-man pressure in a sense, but those edge defenders being nickels and safeties can condense the pocket much quicker. So it was just a masterclass. We're going to put pressure on your tackles, and you're not going to stop us. And that's what happened for 60 minutes.
Not going to do anything about it. It was just a very poetic ending to what is going to be a very disappointing year for Bears fans. This is not
straight losses. They have 10 straight losses.
Not the expectations Bears fans had going into the season, that's for sure. Given most of that was their own doing. Most of that was them saying that, and most people saying cool it, but hey, the Bears, it looks like the Bears do have a quarterback as long as they can get an offensive line. And we know Ryan's opinion, but I don't think you've officially stated it on the podcast. If you were the GM, if you were Ryan Poles, who are you hiring as the next head coach for the Bears?
I don't know. Ben Johnson.
That's the easy answer, right? Indeed.
Yeah. Like, if he decides to pick your team, then yeah, I think you have to hire him.
Yeah, you have to. And then moving on to our 3 Saturday games, starting at the noon, was absolute beat down of the Chargers over the Patriots, 40-7. Bengals versus Broncos in overtime, 30-24. And then the Rams over the Cardinals in another game that wasn't very fun to watch, 13-9. Jim Harbaugh came out, and Jim Harbaugh's going to say, I have the better team. I'm the better coach. I have the better quarterback. As much as I love Drake May,
yeah,
it just dominated that. And I cannot wait to see playoff Jim Harbaugh. It is going to be something to witness. I'm so here for it as a Michigan fan. It is going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, they could draw the Texans right out the gate, and that would be the ideal team to face, because I think they would be arguably the worst team in either field. But, yeah, Ladd McConkey is a star. I think that was the main takeaway from that game.
Oh, he is so much fun to watch.
Really nothing else. And the Patriots have the number 1 pick as of right now, but that could change. I mean, Buffalo's sitting there, guys, this week.
Yeah, we will get into the bench, or like who's starting and who's sitting and everything coming in the, in a little bit. But and we'll get into the Giants of it all, because I know me and you definitely view that Giants game differently. That's for sure. The Bengals versus Broncos, which was actually a fun game to watch. This is the only game on the Saturday slate that I actually watched. And I mean, if this Bengals team actually had any defense that was actually even, half their weight, Joe Burrow would be the runaway MVP right now. He's putting up crazy stats. And I feel bad for him with how bad that defense has. But, they actually decided to show up this game and actually do a little bit of something. It was a very, very fun game to watch. Did you watch this one?
This was actually the only one of the Saturday slate I did not catch because I had a birthday party. So, priorities are set. And this one, I felt like no matter what, it wouldn't matter in the end because, Denver gets to face Kansas City, who's resting their guys. But, yeah, I mean, you're right about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is... Joe Burrow said it. I mean, the Super Bowl window starts and closes with him. When he is there, he creates his own, window. And I think... I don't know, man. It sucks for the defense to waste this year, but it's also at the same time, they spent a lot of money on this defense. They spent a lot of draft capital on this defense, and it's still not good enough. So I don't know the easy fix for this team. And then the T. Higgins of it all is
he's gone.
They've kind of planted their flag that they're not going to pay him, but at the same time, your quarterback, your $50 million guy, is saying, I want T. Higgins, and you're just going to say no to that guy and let him walk out of the door. It's hard for that. It's hard for me to imagine that happening. So it's a fascinating, situation in Cincinnati going forward.
Oh, for sure. But, I mean, Lou has, as much as I love Lou Anarumo, he has to be gone after this season. And I think he put together a string of some very, very good seasons as a DC there with the Bengals. But it has just been a rough season, we'll say this. Coach Tyler coming in talking about Cam Scatabo going to the Chargers and it being over. It would be fun, but this is a very stacked running back class. And we'll get into it over the course of the the off season in the draft season. Scatabo's fun, but yeah, people are maybe overhyping him a little bit, and I'll rest my opinions at that because we're not trying to dig into that conversation right now. And then the Cardinals and Rams, like I said, I didn't watch this game. It looked like it was just a field goal kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals moved the ball at a pretty solid clip. Trey McBride was very involved in the offense. It's just, I've watched a few of these games this year, and he was not involved as much as he was in this game. The Cardinals really wanted to win this game, and this was a team that was eliminated from playoff contention last week after losing to the Panthers. You have nothing to play for, everyone says, when you're eliminated. These guys had pride. They fought, and they still only scored 9 points. And, it sucks that the ending of your season is because of a fastball that Kyler hits McBride in the helmet and it's intercepted. But, good on the Rams. Just having enough and just doing enough in the right spots, and now they're going to be able to bench their guys and get ready for the playoffs as the division winner. Who would have thought that? 1-4, winning the division later in the year? Oh yeah, I would have thought it.
I was going to say you did. I know you had money on that.
But yeah, man, I think that this. Don't let Stafford get hot because he's the best quarterback in the conference. So it's just we'll see what happens there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be. Any team that's going to go and face them is not going to be looking forward to it, given it's going to be in LA, and most of the time the team traveling to LA, it's usually a home game for them. But like you said, you never want to play
right now. I think it would be the Commanders. So from Maryland to LA, that's literally cross country.
Yeah. Speaking of that division, Eagles versus Cowboys will kick off the Sunday slate here. Absolutely just dominating fashion, even with two backup quarterbacks, not the second string, but also the third string. I had so much fun watching this game. Eagles end up winning this game 41-7. Early on in this game, they were loading the box because they said, Kenny Pickett, let's make you pass the football because we're not going to let you run it down our throats with Saquon. And later in the game, they were able to do such. But, man, Kenny Pickett actually looked good outside of that goofy throw and may have been one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my entire life. But outside of that, he looked good. And my king, Tanner McKee, also looked amazing in that game. It's going to be a long off season for Cowboys fans, and if you're a Cowboys fan, I fear for you because I think you guys won just enough with just enough injured players that you're going to keep Mike McCarthy. You're going to have to stick with him for another year. So good luck with that one, Cowboys fans. Do you have anything about this game?
No, just the Kenny Pickett flipping himself, and the Cowboys, like, I was watching this game early in the slate because the noon slate was really bad. I don't know if you noticed that with all the all the good games going to Saturday and Christmas. This slate was really bad, so I was focused on it to start the game, and like the first 12 minutes, it was just Cowboys had the ball, but they were still down 7-0 because Cooper Rush threw an interception that was a touchdown to he who shall not be named, but it was just, it was weird, and I'm like, they're gonna make this a game. I believe they're gonna make this a game, and it was never a game. Like, they just never moved the ball after the first quarter, and it happens. It happens.
Hey, go Birds. Moving on to, like you said, this entire slate of games again at noon was not very fun to watch. Really, the only fun game to watch was the Colts and Giants game, just because it was a high-scoring game that was very dysfunctional, and we'll get to that one. The Giants end up tanking their draft stock, going from 1 all the way to, I think, 4 right now. They end up beating the Colts 45-33, and that's not because the Giants looked good, so don't get that twisted. The Colts looked so utterly dysfunctional in this game. It was wild. And they were still, they still had a chance to make the playoffs, which was the most shocking part, that they looked this bad playing against a team that is this bad. I'm not a fan of the Giants winning this one, but I know you are of a different point of view on that.
Yeah, I mean, the players play. Just is what it is. Like, whether us fans, executives, we all tank, players do not. And the Giants went into this game. They had not won a football game at MetLife Stadium in the year of 2024 or that, football season. So these guys gave a damn. And Drew Lock especially did. He EPA per play is an efficiency metric. How many points do you add per play? And he had a 1.18 EPA per play, so he was adding about 1.2 points per drop back per pass, and that's on par with 2007 Peyton, or 2007 Brady, 2004 Peyton, 2018 Mahomes. That's how good Drew Lock was in this game. It was incredible. And then Malik Neighbors took over the football game. 2 monster touchdowns, one of them on a 3rd and 14 screen outside of field goal range. Unbelievable. But again, to your Colts point, thinking about, 2 guys coming from the same place, coming from Philly, they're easy to be compared, but Jonathan Gannon with the Cardinals and the Steichen with the Colts, the Cardinals looked like, against the better team, had more fight and more desire with no playoff spot on the line the night before than the Colts did with an actual life against the much worse opponent. It was fascinating. Zaire Franklin went to the defense and tried to rile them up, and it just never worked. It was awful. It was sloppy. It was bad, just bad all around for Indianapolis.
Yeah. It was bad football. I'm wondering if it's at a point that they think about going a different direction in terms of Steichen, because these guys are just not playing for him anymore. I think they might give it one more year, but it's rough for them. Another going into a divisional matchup here, Panthers versus Bucks. Like you said, another blowout, another game that wasn't too much fun. Mm-hmm. Masterclass Baker game, which we've been privy to numerous times this season. Bucks end up winning 48-14. For me, not much to take away from this besides Baker Mayfield's just an absolute dog, and that's how he's been playing this season.
Yeah, I mean, they pounced on him early. I was thinking about this the other day. If we didn't have Brian Thomas Jr., Brock Bowers, or any of the quarterbacks performing this well, we would be talking about Bucky Irving as the rookie of the year a lot more. He's been tremendous this year. It's just overall the Bucks continue. They reloaded just enough to win a bad division again for them. Atlanta loses. We'll talk about that soon enough. But yeah, I mean, good on them. They're going to be the 4 seed again, and it's thanks to Baker and finding a gem for $1 million last year, and then extending him to a pretty healthy contract this year. So yeah, I mean, good on them.
Yeah, hey, Bucky Irving saved my fantasy football season. I mean, he is the reason. For those who were wondering, I guess we haven't talked to you guys since. I ended up beating Ryan, so I played in the championship game and ended up winning that. So you're looking at I guess you're looking at the screensaver of your fantasy football champion here. So, Jets versus Bills, again, blowout. The Bills end up winning 40-14. And really, for me, the takeaway for this is this all but seals Aaron Rodgers' time in New York. There's no way that Woody Johnson can look at this team at the end of the season and bring Aaron back. I know Jets fans had so much hope for him going into the season, but it was just awful. Didn't Tyrod have to come in at some point in this game? It was bad. It was rough.
Yeah,
Tyrod ended up coming in.
Well, and the ironic part is that this team had 0 points. I really cared about this game ending with 0 points for the Jets because the Saints on Monday Night Football 2 days before Christmas were the only team in the NFL to get shut out this year. And the Jets were shut out into the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Tyrod Taylor comes in and scores not 1 but 2 touchdowns, one of them to Garrett Wilson, which was meaningful to me. But overall, I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone wants to see this again. Aaron Rodgers is at 499 total touchdown passes. I was thinking to myself the other day, what if he comes out and he just cooks this masterful script, and like they score the 500th touchdown, him to Devontae Adams, and they just like jog off like Antonio Brown and just say, all right, we're done here. Like we accomplished what we meant to accomplish today. I stole your joy, Jets fans. You're still cursed. Yeah, I mean, and then Josh
never
Allen
to be seen again.
Josh Allen, that was like easy for him. That was easy mode. That's what's so cool about some of these NFL quarterbacks is that these are the best football players in the world, and some of them still make it look tremendously easy each and every week, and he's one of those guys. But yeah, I mean, they clinched the 2 seeds, so they have nothing to play for, but it's still fun to watch Josh Allen play football.
Well, that was the takeaway after the Ravens just absolutely killing the Texans. Everyone's like, oh, Lamar took the MVP trophy back. But yeah. Josh is going to make it interesting down the stretch.
I mean, I think we've been blessed as fans to have this debate about the Heisman, and now with these MVPs, like, I don't think there's a wrong answer on either one of them. Like, it really is, like, it's fun to debate. We love doing it more than anything, but also, I don't think there's a wrong guy to win it. I really don't. I think every metric you go either or.
I agree. It's going to be really fun to see who ends up winning that one. Moving on to the Raiders and Saints game, a game I'm sure you wished you didn't have to watch. The Raiders end up. Well, there you go. The Raiders end up winning 25-10. Brock Bowers looked good, and that's that's about it. Brock Bowers equals good, and the Saints need to figure a lot of stuff out. But boy, were those first 2 weeks of Saints football very fun. Can we just talk about that?
No. I'm in super sim mode to the end. So I mean, like, that's kind of the mode I'm in. Let's get to the off season. So many people are reminiscing about football right now and how, like, oh, this season flew by. This season was awful for me. This season was so long as a Saints fan, man. I mean, you get the first 2 weeks, you get the optimism, and then you lose like 5 in a row. The coach gets fired because you lose to Bryce Young, who might not be so bad as we all thought. And Then they beat the Falcons. That was awesome. That's probably the highlight of the year. But after that, it's just been a drag. So yeah, I'm ready for the season to be over for the Saints. Let's just get out of here. Let's get our 10th pick and get out of here.
Texas football, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you have that.
Almost didn't have that.
Yeah, that was. We'll get into that. That's for sure. Titans versus Jags. Jags end up winning 20-13. Again, it's kind of the theme of these last couple games until we get to these last 3 games. It was just another stinker of a game. Unless you were a Titans or Jags fan, you probably were not watching this game. Unless you were, Matt, were you watching this game?
Brian Thomas definitely decided fantasy championships. Like,
he's a dog.
I love watching that guy play. I mean, I was wrong about him in the pre-draft. I compared him. My biggest comparison was MVS. He's anything but MVS. He's much better than MVS, just more crisp and much better after the catch and off the ball. But yeah, I mean, he's a superstar, and he's played with Mac Jones all season, or for majority of the end of the season. Yeah. And then he was a snub for the Pro Bowl today. Like, that was bad. I love Zay Flowers.
The fact that Zay Flowers, yeah, that was.
I mean, the Pro Bowl is whatever. I don't like it because the voting system, it just triggers to teams with good records and fans voting whatever. No one's really talking about Brian Thomas. I get it, 4-12 Jaguars, but hey, he won them this game, so good on him. Took him out of the Travis Hunter sweepstakes.
Yes, it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up happening in terms of where they draft and everything.
We'll definitely talk about this next week when we have the top 18 sorted out.
Oh, 100%. And then moving on to the last stinker of a game, and then we actually have 3 fun games to talk about after this one. Dolphins versus the Browns. The Dolphins end up winning this one 20-3. This game was very, very boring. And it hurt me down to my soul to watch this game because for longtime listeners of the podcast, everyone knew big DTR guy. I love DTR coming out of UCLA. But boy, he's going to make one hell of an XFL quarterback. That is for sure. He did not look good. Did you watch this game?
No, this was such a weird game and weird timing with the slate. Like, I was like, it doesn't, like, this, the one that we're going to talk about, the Packers-Vikings, like, mattered a big ton. And then, like, you look at the Dolphins and Browns, and you're like, well, Browns are playing for draft position. The Dolphins are playing for their slim hopes of making it. I bet all the fans in Cincinnati were hoping, Cleveland could pull it out. Their rivals across the lake, but, I mean, Miami figures out a way to win it. Barely. Snoop Huntley has a good game, their first good game of a non-Tua quarterback this year for Miami, so let's see what they do, I guess. I mean, wouldn't they be the most boring playoff team to, like, make the playoffs after the season? Like,
100%.
Imagine Denver loses, but they, like, beat the Jets or something. Do they play the Jets? Yeah.
Yeah,
they beat the Jets with Snoop Huntley, and they make the playoffs, and Burrow has, like, this electric performance to beat the Steelers or something on Saturday. Imagine that.
Oh, God, that's my nightmare.
How awesome
that would suck. Be? That would be awful. That would be awful is what that would be. That would be my nightmare. No one wants to see this Dolphins team. I mean, my favorite bit this entire, like, season is that, like, Tyreek Hill has more kids than he does touchdowns. Which is just like a wild comment to say at this point.
Which is a lot. He's got to get a lot of touchdowns. I'll give him that, though. He's got a ton of kids. I'll give him that.
But moving on to that aforementioned Packers-Vikings game, a game that did have a lot to do, especially with the playoff standings, and then into this Vikings-Lions game that we'll get into in just a little bit. A very, very fun game to watch. And as this season has progressed, it has turned into, it's going to be, fun. What team is going to get Sam Darnold? He has looked really good this season. What team that needs a quarterback is going to get him? And now it's slowly shifted, and you've been able to see it game by game by game by game. there's no way the Vikings can let this guy go. And if you haven't picked up, by the way, I've talked, the Vikings end up winning this game 27-25. And it was such a fun game to watch. And now it has very important playoff implications because the Vikings versus Lions, we'll get into it. The winner of that's the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, this game was perfect in every way because it I don't know if you felt, I was dissecting like every single like just moment of this game because it felt like a playoff game. It really did. It really felt like both of these teams came in with do or die attitudes, and that was pretty cool because you don't get many regular season games like that, and you got it in this one. Your point about Darnold, I mean, he's the starting quarterback of the Vikings next season. I feel
100%.
like that. I feel like I understand what Kwesi Adofo-Mensah wanted to do, getting J.J. McCarthy, getting on the rookie contract. Well, now he's had the knee injury, and Sam Darnold is clearly the guy for this locker room, and you got to throw your hands up and say, you know what, hopefully we can meet in the middle with Sam, because he has definitely been worth the price of admission. He had one of my favorite plays of the year, that little shimmy in the pocket when he hit Addison in that back right corner. That was the moment that I was like, all right, this team can win the Super Bowl. Like, I know, like, they had 14 wins, whatever, and all these things. But if that's the quarterback play that they can get in the playoffs to decide like red zone opportunities becoming from 3 to 7s consistently, I think they can win the Super Bowl. And it was just a play like that I was just like, wow, all right, here we are.
100%. I mean, hand up. Like, as an Eagles fan, when we were talking about who was going to get the number 1 seed, and it ended up not mattering because we lost to the Commanders 2 weeks ago, it was always like, oh, is it going to be the Eagles or is it going to be the Lions? Is it going to be the Eagles or the Lions? And it was always – the Vikings were kind of always that team on the back burner that everyone kind of forgot about. But this game kind of – not that people didn't realize how good the Vikings were, but this game being on primetime kind of forced everyone to open up their eyes and say, watch this game. Look how good this Vikings team is. They have a chance to maybe win the Super Bowl. I mean, not that I would pick them to, but it was a fun game.
Yeah, and that first half wasn't close. Like,
No.
That was the thing, too. That first half felt like it. The scoreboard is within 2, but still, like, this game didn't feel close to me. And I'm very bullish on what the Vikings can do, especially they're playing, like you said, playing for the 1 seed. If they go into Detroit and win an environment like that back-to-back weeks, man, watch out. Just watch out. I know I shouldn't be saying watch out about the 1 seed, but yeah, I mean,
again, it's a team no one.
Conference.
Yeah, it was a team that no one thought about. They were an afterthought going into the season.
Their over/under was 6.5.
It's just wild. Absolutely blew that out of the water. That's for sure.
If you talk them in the playoffs, then you were like, this hot take. I think the Minnesota Vikings could make the playoffs. If you said they would win the 1 seed, you were shot to the sun.
So 100%. Yeah.
It's like
I remember going through picking this slate, and I ended up having, I think the Vikings win 6 games. And I remember saying, like, oh, if there's a surprise team, it's going to be the Vikings. And everyone was like, oh, there's no way. And obviously I can't take credit because I had them winning 6 games or something. But even at the time, I was like, maybe they're a surprise team, let alone being the first seed in the NFC. It's been so fun to watch. Moving on to another very fun game to watch, a game that I know you have opinions on, especially about the quarterback here. But Falcons versus Commanders, it was an overtime victory. Daniels got the ball, and he just went down the field and made some very good throws, made some very good runs, won it in overtime. Commanders end up winning 30-24. A game in which I was hoping for the Falcons to win, selfishly, because I don't want to mess with the Bucs. The Bucs are kind of the Eagles' kryptonite, and I kind of wanted my revenge on the Falcons anyways. But very fun to watch. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like, I admittedly, I watched the first half and kind of stumbled into watching other games from this slate, but the way Atlanta ran the ball in the first half, for them to kind of veer off in the second half was alarming to me. Jaden Daniels continues to just put on the cape, and it's one of those things that, like, there's so much put on his plate each and every week as a rookie. It's just, I mean, it's simple stuff. It's like, stay out of hard downs. Just stay out of hard downs. Stay out of your 3rd and 7. Stay out of your 2nd and longs, and we'll be good. And they consistently do it. And with a mediocre run game, they continue to just find a way. And they've won 11 games, just like the Vikings. This team was over under 4.5 wins. They plucked from free agency. They signed Tyler Biadasz. They signed Frankie Luvu, Dorrance Armstrong, these guys who nobody wanted. You kind of just say, we got to formulate a team with players. Let's get, replacement level starters at these positions and see if the quarterback can figure it out. Like, I said they should draft Drake May over Jaden Daniels, and with the way they're running the scheme, there's no way Drake May could run this and work the way it's been. But, yeah, I mean, it's just it's the statement for all of these teams. Just find a way to keep winning, and the Commanders are another, team of that.
Hey, so some people are already saying JD is the best quarterback in the NFC. Yeah, I don't agree with that, but that's how well he's played this year.
Yeah, I'm going to hold off all of my takes on Jaden Daniels because I think we all did that with Stroud. I think we all inflated
exactly, yeah,
where they're going to be instead of where they are. So I'm going to hold back on that one. But he's been very good.
That's what's keeping me grounded was Stroud last year versus this year. But yeah, he's been a lot of fun. And then moving on to the last game in this slate, Lions versus the Niners. The Lions ended up winning this game. And I use the word ended up because going into this game, everyone would have thought the Lions were going to blow them out. But this was a very competitive game, not for the reasons you might think. The Lions decided to play their best ball, or the Niners decided to play their best ball, while the Lions decided to not play any defense for the first 3 quarters of the game. And it just comes down to the injuries. I mean, we talked about it. You can make an entire starting defense with the injuries that this Lions team has. And given it was a game that really didn't matter at all, whether they won or lost this, it had no implications on what happens next week and everything. But watching this game makes me a little bit concerned on how it's going to come playoff time. And that makes me want to watch this game against the Vikings this coming week even more, because we're going to really see if this defense is as bad as they looked or if it was an off game. So it's going to be interesting. But it was a very fun game to watch. And Brock Purdy stinks, by the way. Have fun paying him $50 million, Niners.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I noticed right out of the gate was, like, the Niners had an attitude. The Niners wanted to win this game. Again, just like the Cardinals, where it's like, your season's over. They played with a pride. And I respect the teams that play with pride when your season is over, because it's hard to do that. It's hard to show up and say, you know what, we're going to, I'm going to risk injury for a season that is lost and dead. They mentioned it on the broadcast. Buck mentioned, Bosa was playing through an injury, and he kind of tweaked it early enough in the game. Fred Warner was playing with a broken bone in his foot. Like, come on. That's dog energy, and they played. But yeah, and it was still easy for the Lions, by the way. It was still just, the Lions just continue to make it look easy as everyone else is just begging for it to look hard. They run a hook and ladder on 3rd and forever and score a touchdown out of it. Jameson Williams really was the final piece. There was a reason that they traded up and drafted him. They traded 2 seconds to draft him when they did. He was the final piece to this offense, being able to calculate deep shots down the field and create explosives with how fast he is in the run game. But it's just, to your point on the defense, this has been my, like, pseudo take for a minute. Like, I think if they're going to get in some 40-40 game, it just depends on if Jake Bates is the kicker making the game-winning kick or not. Like, they're going to get into one of these with one of these NFC teams. Just back and forth, 40-40. Whoever has the ball last, whoever's kicker is on the field last is going to win. Kind of moment.
Hopefully, it's not Texas's kicker.
Yeah.
Anyways,
shooting his son. But yeah, man, I just I don't. It sucks for the Lions because this was the shot to get it, and there's just too many injuries on the defense to really pick them convictingly, and especially with, like, you're in the weaker conference, and they might be third on my power rankings just because of the injuries lost on defense, and then the AFC is a much tougher, more competitive conference. I think we could both agree with that. So,
yes.
Yeah. It's going to be fascinating if they can win every game just scoring 40, and who cares if the other team scores 30? We got 40. But
yeah, exactly. It's playoff football. It really is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But we will move on to our next segment here.
Just when you thought it was safe to play the underdog, we put you on Upset Alert.
Now, Upset Alert this week is difficult because...
Does it count? I don't think it counts this week.
What do you mean?
I mean...
that's what I'm saying. It's difficult because it's a lot of, like, people resting their starters versus a team that's tanking. And very difficult to pick an Upset Alert this week. I ended up having 4 teams for you guys this week, but I was really scratching and clawing to find even 4 teams for you guys this week. And I'll go over the winners and losers in the next segment and pick them and everything. But the 4 ones I have for you guys is the Texans and Titans. The Titans are actually favored in this game. Jaguars versus Eagles. I'm pretty sure the Eagles are favored in this game, even though it's come out that they're going to rest.
Favored by 3.
Yeah, and it come out that they're going to rest their starters, which is a conversation we will get into, believe me. Jags versus Colts, and then the Niners versus Cardinals. Niners versus Cardinals have absolutely no playoff implications at all. It
I'm
just
gonna watch
doesn't matter.
all of that game. That sounds.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm
looking at the 3:20 slate. That feels like the best game to me.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Because it's just going to be, the Chargers and Raiders game might be fun. I could see Jim Harbaugh wanting to play his start. It moves up, like, they move from, like, they can bump up, like, 1 seed or something. I think they can move from 6 to 5 or something like that.
Yeah, if the Steelers lose. Okay.
It would be, it'd be fun to watch. And Jim Harbaugh is going to play his starters no matter what because he's Jim Harbaugh. But those are the 4 games for me. But like I said, it was really hard to pick stuff because it's a lot of teams that are tanking versus teams that are playing backups. Do you have any ones, or we can just jump into Pigskin Pick'em if you want to as well?
Yeah, I have 2 upsets, 3 comments. I'll start with my upsets. I'll take the Cowboys plus 6. That sounds fun. I'm ready to get hurt again. They beat the Commanders this year already. So I mean, hey, like let's ride into the sunset. Mike McCarthy #2025. And then the Dolphins are favored by 1. I'm taking the Jets with my heart. To say, like, what if Carson Wentz does something funny and Joe Burrow can get in? Like, how do we get Joe Burrow in the playoffs? That's continuously what I keep saying, and we have to get help from the Jets, so I'll do the Jets plus 1. And then my third is not an upset, but a comment. The Ravens on Saturday, because Bailey Zappi is starting, are 20.5-point favorites.
Mm-hmm.
This is SEC against Group of 5 team in September spreads.
Might have the Browns cover.
That's too many points. That's too many points.
Okay, see,
it's already in the lay.
I thought the same thing when it was Packers 14.5 against the Saints, and we saw that
was
work.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that one was that was so dumb, dude. I came on here and I said that. Oh man,
poor guy.
Dude, I was so excited about the money line plus 700 value. I think the Browns are value, to be honest.
Oh God.
That one's for the division for the Ravens.
Yes,
so
it is.
don't care.
And the Ravens do play before the Steelers on Saturday, so it does matter. It's
I
not
don't
like
think that matters. I don't think
it does.
Like
It does
I don't
because
think
if
it,
the
like, works
Steelers,
like that.
well, no, because if the Steelers win, then it doesn't matter because the Steelers win, they have
Are
the
you saying-
division locked up.
So, are you saying like, if the Ravens win the division, then the Steelers just won't play their guys? Because I don't. think it
No.
works like
I'm saying
Okay.
it matters. I'm saying it matters that the Browns and Ravens
the
game
division.
is first.
Yeah.
Is first because if
Okay,
it was
okay.
Steelers Bengals first and the Steelers won, then the Ravens would just sit their starters. But now
they
since
just
they're
wanted to
since the
put
Ravens game is
Burrow
first,
in
they have to
prime
play.
time.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll jump off with this first one: Browns versus Ravens. Me and Ryan are going Ravens.
I'll take
Matt,
the Ravens.
I was gonna say.
I'll take the Ravens.
And then Bengals versus Steelers. I'm pretty sure the Bengals are actually favored in this one. And I'm going Bengals. Ryan is going Bengals. Matt.
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals. Joe Burrow, I'm looking at his stats here. He is 359 yards off of 5,000. Just saying.
Hey,
Just interesting to.
just saying. And Ryan would also have me know. Ryan went 11-5. I went 10-6, and Matt actually won the week on 12-4.
No shock.
That being said, wait, watch who you're speaking to. That being said, Ryan has a 68% correct percentage. I have 62, and Matt has a 59. So, anyways, for those who are counting, I would have to pick every game against Ryan to tie it up and be correct. So I will take the L. So this is the first time in 3 years we've done the podcast that Ryan has beat me. So this is going to be fun.
Pick the opposite of every game he picks.
That would be fun, but no, because I'm still fighting for second place against you. Anyways.
That's fair.
Yes. Panthers versus Falcons. So now if the Falcons win and the Buccaneers lose, the Falcons make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. So the Falcons actually have something to play for. I'm picking Falcons. Ryan is picking Panthers. And I think the Panthers aren't going to try to win. The Panthers want Mason Graham. Anyways. Who do you want?
I'm gonna pick the Panthers because the Falcons are 8-8. I think they want to finish 9-8 to say we were 500 in this experimental season. It'd be funnier if they were 8-9. So we're going Panthers.
It's just next level hating, and I'm so here for it. Moving on to the next game, Texans versus Titans. Ryan's going Titans. I'm going Texans based off of the simple fact I think the Titans want to lose to get the best draft pick.
Yeah, I'm on that. I'll go Texans.
There we go. I'm wondering how much. Again, Ryan's in a lot of pain, so I'm wondering how much he thought about that when making these picks here. All right. So now the game that I said we talk a little bit about: the Jags versus the Eagles, or not the Jags, the Giants versus the Eagles. My bad. Saquon broke the 2,000-yard mark, which is fantastic. That's what we love to see. I understand that people do not want to risk injury with him. Put him in. He's 100 yards away from breaking the record. If it doesn't matter, every single time he steps foot on the football field, he risks getting hurt. It makes he could get hurt in practice. Put him in. Don't. He has a chance to go down in history, and people are like, well, what about the Super Bowl? What about both? Why can't he break the record and also win the Super Bowl? It's upsetting to me. I want him to break the record, and that's the other thing. People, if he breaks the record, everyone's gonna be like, well, he did it in 17 games versus Eric Dickerson.
He'd have less carries.
Exactly, he had less carries. So, anyways, I want Saquon to play, and part of the reason I want Saquon to play is if Saquon plays, the entire offensive line plays, and Hurts. Hurts now has missed the majority of one game in all of this game. I want him to see some action before the playoffs. And if Hurts is playing and the offensive line is playing, play Saquon. It would make no sense to not at that point, and see how the first drive goes. Who knows? Maybe he busts off a 70-yard run, and it's within arm's reach. I just play it and see how it goes for a little bit. That's where I am at. That being said, I have the Giants winning this one because I think Nick Sirianni is a big old stinker and won't actually play the starters. So I'm picking Giants.
Yeah, I'll pick the Eagles.
Hey, we're here for that. And honestly, it would make me happy if the Eagles lost this game to just further tank the draft stock on the Giants.
Wow.
To make them trade up even more for Shedeur, which would be that's my dream, is them just giving up 2 second-round picks for Shedeur. It just we'll get into why that's my dream in the offseason and such, because it's been a long discussed topic. But Jaguars versus Colts. Ryan picks Jaguars. I'm picking Colts. I think the Colts had a rough game last week, and there's a lot of talk about them in the media, how they don't care. Sykin maybe coaching for his job at this point in the season. I think they're going to really come out and play hard. Again, this game doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things in terms of playoffs and everything, but I think they want to win this game to at least damper down the talk for at least a little bit. So I'm going Colts.
Yeah, I'm joining you with the Colts.
I mean, so far, me and Ryan have picked mostly different games. Commanders versus Cowboys. Ryan's going Cowboys, so he's riding with you there, Matt. He's riding there with you. I'm going Commanders. It could have playoff implications in terms of seedings with them in the Packers, because if they sit their starters and they lose and the Packers win, then they flip back, and
yeah.
So I'm going Commanders. So
yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm flipping on this game. I don't know which way I want to go. I'll go with Daniels. I'll go with the Commanders. I do think that matters. I think they want to get the higher seed to not have to go to Philly in the cold, in the chilly cold.
Smart man. And
then
that
that would
game,
narrow it down to the other division winners. It'd narrow it down to either going to LA, as I mentioned, or going to Tampa. No, wait.
We'd much rather go to.
It would have to be LA because
it'd
the
be
5
LA.
seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd much rather go there.
100%. So, and then moving on to that game that we said had, Packers versus Commanders. That's Bears versus Packers. Ryan is going Bears. Ryan prefaced this by saying he's going to be in Wisconsin for this one. He's going to be there for his brother's birthday party. And he said there's no way he's going up to the Cheese State just to get a loss. Bears victory. That being said, Ryan is going all the way up to Wisconsin to get a loss. Packers win this one.
When's the last time they won this game?
Forever ago. He's delusional, but what Bears
in
fans are.
Green Bay.
That's actually a good question.
Because I think I know the result. If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was 7 years ago.
It was in 2015. That one has a special meaning to me for different reasons, but yeah, that was the last time they've won. 2015.
10 years ago.
Thanksgiving weekend. I remember that game very vividly. But yeah, I mean, they're not going to win today, or they're not going to win on Sunday. It's the Packers. The Bears will finish 0-8 on the road this year, and they will finish on an 11-game losing streak. That's got to suck, man.
That's rough.
That's got to suck. And you finish with less wins than the Saints. That's got to suck.
Yeah, that is rough. Speaking of the Saints, Saints at Buccaneers. Buccaneers are they have to. I guess technically they don't have to. It all depends on the Falcons, and actually no, they're in the same time slot as the Falcons, so they have to play their starters because they won't know the outcome of that Falcons game. I'm picking Bucks. Ryan is picking Bucks.
Listen,
are you gonna pick against your team?
Listen, I don't ask for a lot, okay? Mike Evans is 85 yards away from being an 1,000-yard receiver again. Bracket his ass all the time. Every single time he's on the field. just the entire game. Like, if we stop him from getting 1,000 yards, that might make my season. That might make the season for me. Make it all worth it. A loss here doesn't matter. We stopped Mike Evans and his terror of, oh, he's got 1,000 yards again. He's so consistent. I would take the Bucks to win this game. How cool would that be if the Saints stopped them from making the playoffs? That'd be pretty dope. But
That would be a lot of fun.
Mike Evans under 84.5 receiving yards. Lock it in.
There you go. Bills versus Patriots. This is one of those scenarios where it's a team that is playing their backups versus a team that is tanking. And I know you preface that players aren't tanking. That being said, I will have the Bills win this game because I think the Patriots desperately want the number 1 overall pick so they can get some sucker of a team to trade them 2 first-round picks for the only good quarterback in this class.
Do you think Mayo's job is safe? Because that'd be the only reason he doesn't go for it.
In my opinion, his job should be safe.
Okay.
I don't know if it actually is safe. If I was Robert Kraft, I would say so.
Okay.
You knew going into the year that this was the worst roster in all of football. How are you going to fire a coach that you knew was going to be bad in year 1? It just doesn't make any sense to me. The process behind it is just a bad process. I think he should be safe, and I don't think Robert Kraft would fire him after the first year anyways. They spent years grooming him to be the head coach.
Yeah, they kept saying that. That would be silly. That was really a big point of emphasis. They've been targeting him for years on the staff. I'll pick the Patriots, though. I do think the Patriots... I think that'd be pretty fun. Because that's why I don't do mock drafts. That's why I don't want to do these until the order is set. Because it keeps moving on me. It keeps moving. I don't like it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
We'll have a set draft order, all right, after this week. Thank God. Thank God.
Yes, it's beautiful, beautiful.
Not to be dramatic, but man, I love having a set draft order in front of my face.
It is a thing of beauty. It's just one of those things you love to see.
That's my Christmas.
It really is. Moving on to the afternoon slate here. Chargers versus Raiders. As I said, I think Jim Harbaugh is going to have the guys play. That's just a Jim Harbaugh thing to do. I think there's no way the Chargers don't win this game if the starters are playing. Chargers. Ryan is going Raiders.
Yeah, I'm trying to decipher. It seems like the Steelers are the only one in like reach of like passing, so it depends on the Steelers game, I guess. But yeah, I'll pick the Chargers. I think there's still some room to fight. Yeah, I mean, just vibes. Pick Harbaugh.
Love that. We love that. Niners versus Cardinals, the one game that you said you were going to watch out of this slate. Ryan is going Cardinals. I'm going Niners.
I'm going Niners. I'm going
Hey,
Niners.
that's what we love to see. When push comes to shove, we
Fred
don't
Warner
pick
with
the
the broken
Cardinals.
bone in his foot playing. He's going to have a game.
Yes. And now we get to see starting quarterback Carson Wentz. We love to see that. Chiefs versus Broncos. As I said, the starters are sitting for that one. Carson Wentz is going to play a full game for the first time since Indianapolis at this point. He's bad. Broncos are winning this one.
Well, no, he played in Washington.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But, like,
He was also
so Carson
bad.
Wentz is two-faced. I've seen people on Twitter talk about how, like, Week 18 Carson Wentz, watch out for him, watch out. And, like, he won last year's to set up the Rams and the Lions game where Stafford went back to Detroit for the playoff game, which was awesome, electric. Thank you, Carson Wentz. But, like, do people have memories of a goldfish? Because I remember him being in Indianapolis and throwing 3 interceptions to the number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence Jaguars team, and losing the playoffs actively because of it. That's what I remember of Week 18 Carson Wentz or whatever. I'm going to take the Broncos pretty easily. I think they have to care. They have to care for 60 minutes. This is a playoff game for them. If they want to be in the playoffs, this is a playoff game. This is a must-win. So they need to beat the Chiefs. It is what it is. So I'm gonna take Denver.
Agreed. Rams versus Seahawks in a game that the Rams are most likely sitting
Seahawks.
there. Yeah. We're all going Seahawks. Rams are benching their sitting their starters, not benching.
Jimmy G, baby.
Oh, that's what we love to see. And then the last game here of this afternoon slate, Dolphins versus Jets. If you're the Dolphins, I'm going to have them just like it is for the Broncos. If the Dolphins win this game and the Broncos lose, they're happening at the same time, the Dolphins could make it. Dolphins are going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets. I'm going to...
You just said that so calmly, too, which is beautiful.
Just out of, whatever. I'm going to be, banking on tickets on, Devontae Adams' first touchdown, Devontae Adams' anytime touchdown, because, did you see that last week with Schefter? Schefter was like, it's a big deal for Devontae Adams to catch Aaron Rodgers' 500th touchdown, and then he didn't throw any against the Bills. So, he has to do it now because he's going to retire at the end of the year. So, it's got to happen, right? Put money on the table. Adam Schefter was tweeting about it, so... This is something that means a lot to those guys. So I think they're going to get it. But let's get to the main event, dude.
The game that matters the most, which is Sunday Night Football. Finally, an actual good choice for Sunday Night Football in a very long time.
Have we had a Week 18 game have this much stakes to it? Since, 2019 Niners Seahawks. You remember that game?
Yes, it was...
Dude, I cared about that game so much. The Saints had the Saints had a bye on the line when you had two byes. It was the last time they had these stakes. Usually it's like a division winner, but this year, all right, I'm gonna.
As he was saying, the winner of this game becomes the number one seed in the NFC and gets the bye that everyone wants. I am going Lions. Ryan is going Vikings. I think, as fun as Sam Darnold has been, the Lions are the better team, and I'm going to pick the better team. Lions.
Yeah, see, this is the weird thing. I need to see, 2 drives of this game to make a, pick. I know I have to, I'm going to make a pick, but, I have to see 2 drives of Detroit defense if they're going to live and just die by putting man coverage on Justin Jefferson or not. Because if they're gonna die in man coverage, they will die so quickly. Because that guy is so good at creating every bit of separation and being so gifted at this the catch point. So 2 drives, I'm gonna notice what the Lions are doing to Justin Jefferson and have my belief on who's gonna win the game. But I'll take the Lions right now, just as a, hey, they're the team at home. They're laying 3, whatever. But it's a coin flip game, man. It really is.
Yeah, I could see it going either way. It is going to be a very, very fun game to watch. Like you said,
it's going to have a great vibe, man. Everyone in the country is going to be watching it, and you're going to feel this energy to it. Thought about going to this game. I mean, tickets are through the roof. I can't justify going to it, but.
No.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be an awesome game. I'm so excited for it.
Yes, it is going to be a lot of fun. So tune in next week, and we'll have the results for all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll break down wild card and the draft order. Oh my goodness,
it's beautiful things. And you talk about more college football, which won't be any different because the games wouldn't have been played. It doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on to my favorite segment, no shocker, Matt's probably favorite segment as well.
Pro football isn't the only game in town. Let's take a stroll to Ben's College Corner.
The College Corner. Anyways, last time we spoke to you guys, college football playoffs has not even started. And we'll kind of dig into everything, and we'll first start and talk about all the games before I talk about the title of this this podcast because, boy, this format is bad. But we'll start off here with the games. And we'll go game by game, but we'll start off here with the first round. And we'll do you a favor. We'll start off here with the Clemson-Texas game. A very fun game. A game that pretty much from the start of the game felt like Texas was winning, and there was never any chance that Clemson had even a breath in this game. But how excited were you watching this game?
Yeah, Clemson got out to an opening script touchdown, 7-0. I think one of their receivers hit the go to sleep, which was kind of fun. Kid Klubnik played out of his mind. He was the best quarterback of round one, to me. If you want to say Will Howard, I'm not going to debate you or anything. I'm not going to go super hard on it. But he was running around for his life and making plays, and that was with no run game. Phil Maffa went out and early in the first quarter. They were just talking about how it was a pain tolerance injury, and he never came back. So it was all put on Cade Klubnik, and that was fun for Dabo. For me, watching Dabo, he is still one of the best coaches in college football. He doesn't want to change. I get it.
He's actually doing transfer portal this year, though, which is wild.
Him understanding that they were 14-point favorites. Him saying, "All right, we need to create our own luck, and that needs to be, okay, just whip it around the yard. Just whip it around the yard and see if we can create something." The play calling in the red zone, they had a spot there. They had a spot there that they could really put some pressure on Texas. Didn't get in, fourth down stop, just like the A&M game, and Texas gets a 70-yard touchdown from Jaden Blue to really seal it. So, that was a fun game. It was the best game of round one. We could speed through the other three.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Tennessee versus Ohio State, another game for pretty much from the jump. It did not seem
Tennessee
to be
looked cold, man.
It was bad.
Two drives in, they were just oh, you can tell this team does not want to be here. They just don't. They don't want to win, and that's fine.
We'll get into my thoughts, especially on the whole SEC stuff, and it was funny because Kiffin was the guy that was talking all the trash, but his was the only SEC team that actually showed out. He ended up winning
52-20 in the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, it was just an absolute beat down.
Like the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, Pop-Tart Bowl. Pop-Tart. Oh.
Nope. Cam Ward's opting out of the second half in that one. Pop-Tart Bowl does not move the needle.
No, Pop-Tart Bowl is the funnest bowl. Capital One Orange Bowl, Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Who are they? Pop-Tart Bowl. Anyways, SMU versus Penn State, again, another beatdown, another no surprise to anyone. SMU was a very fun story to watch, but they were another team that we knew immediately that they were punching above their weight class, and when it come to shove, they were going to lose when they played up against any actual good team. And Penn State absolutely whooped on them, and man, we'll talk about it in the Boise game too, but Drew Allard is on a freaking run of his life right now. And then the closest game in terms of score, Indiana versus Notre Dame. And I say closest game in terms of score because that score is even misleading. Notre Dame just whooped on Indiana. It was not even a close game at all. It was just from the get-go, Notre Dame pounced on them. Given I did not watch that game, I forgot, I didn't tell you guys this, did get engaged. Actually, the when this game was going on was actually when I proposed. So I did not watch this game. Fake IU fan. That's what it was. It's because of me. It's because I took the ring he was supposed to win away from him and put it on my now fiance's finger. That's on me. So, moving on to this, and this is hints the name, and we'll kind of break down every game. But every team that got the bye, Arizona State, Oregon, Boise, and Georgia, all lost. Not a single team that got the bye won. And I think whether it's 12 team or Matt has very firmly in his head that it's going to be 14. would not be shocked once it goes to 14. And again, emphasis on once, not if. But man, conference title winners getting the buys is not looking very, very good.
It's gonna be weird because like all 5 conference champion teams lost before the semis, and like that could happen. Like clearly it did happen. Like the circumstance and the context for every team. Like Boise State and Arizona State were 2 touchdown underdogs, and one of them hung around, and one of them was winning in an overtime, and one of them had one of the teams on a 4th and 13. The other was Oregon, who's beat Ohio State this year by 1 point because Will Howard slid late, and then Georgia, they win the SEC, but they don't have a starting quarterback. No matter how bad we rag on Carson Beck made a lot of that offense because that. If you haven't watched Georgia this year, you saw it probably in the Sugar Bowl. Dylan Bell dropped a ridiculous pass. Arian Smith had did it all year. They didn't have Jacoby George, but yeah, man, it's gonna be. I don't know how to put it, but like it's a non-traditional champion, right? Mm-hmm. This is how we think of the 12-team playoff when this was formulated to create and find the best team through whatever round they come from whatever place they are, and we're gonna get it this year. I mean, like I texted you and Ryan, one of Steve Sarkisian, Ryan Day, James Franklin, or Marcus Freeman are going to win a national championship, and those are 4 guys who have very loud perceptions of them. So one of those guys is going to be able to quiet the narratives in a big way, unless it's Ryan Day, and Ryan Day just gets another year of like, well, Michigan technically won the championship, but whatever. It's just, I am a 12-team playoff fan. I am officially here for it. I did not think I would get swayed, but everything about it, making the Rose Bowl matter, making these New Year's Six Bowls matter to me, is a very good thing. Just overall, I mean, giving these teams an opportunity, a second life that Ohio State would not have gotten, and they look like the best team in the country, and they're going to bulldoze anyone in front of them. They would not have gotten that. And maybe they don't lose to Michigan because they're playing with a different ideology, but that's besides the point. They're in now, and we're getting more football and less opt-outs. Scatterboo happening on a national stage against Texas is a good thing. It was not good for my heart, but overall, it was a good thing because he's an NFL draft pick, and those guys don't play unless it's a game like this. And he left it all on the field. Like, great on that guy. And it's just, I feel like I'm just rambling on about it, but this is my own way of saying, like, I think I'm in on the 12-team playoff. Let's tweak it enough. I think you're right about the format. In no world should Boise State or Arizona State be a top 4 seed because, like I said, when it was announced, the way the rankings are, Boise State's the 9th ranking, but the 3rd seed because of the conference championship thing. Arizona State's the 12th ranking. They're the 4th seed because of Texas was the 3rd ranking. So Texas is not like this underdog. Penn State was 4. They're not like this underdog. Ohio State was 6. Notre Dame was 7. So it's literally the middle of it. Notre Dame was like 5, I think. So like they were all 3, 4, 5, and 6. The only teams ahead of them that lost, or they were supposed to lose to, were Oregon and Georgia, and they had their own circumstances. So, yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah. Push come to shove, we're here for the 12-team playoff. Format needs to be tweaked.
Just put the 4 best teams. Like, here's how I would do it. If you want my ideas, all right, if anyone cares.
For the 4 best teams, the 4 most deserving teams.
I think the 4 teams in your top 4 ranking should be, whether that's Big Ten or SEC, I don't care. All right, if you want to come at me about SEC or Big Ten, those are likely going to be the 4 best teams.
Yes.
Say we put Oregon we put Texas, we put Penn State, we put Georgia, whatever order you have it. Those are the 4 teams. They are in the quarterfinals right now. The first round, then, if you're a conference champion, you're in. But you're not given anything. I think Boise State should still get Boise State would probably still get a home game, right?
Yeah.
But this is where I throw the curveball on you. I think the quarterfinals should also be a home game. Because
I'd be okay with that.
do you think that,
I mean, the Cotton Bowl's a home game. That's besides the point.
they played in Autzen, and Oregon won. It was a very close game. I watched that game between Notre Dame and Georgia today, and Georgia can make the case. I get it was a 13-point game. 57 seconds swung that game if you watch that game. If that game was played in Athens, I have no doubt about it. Georgia has a stranglehold on that game. But it's played in the Sugar Bowl. Circumstances happen. Stuff that's too above of this podcast for. If you want to read about it, you can. But it was played in New Orleans, and it was not played in a traditional college setting. It was played in a neutral site. It was played in the Superdome. So
yes,
it's. I would tweak it my own way, but yeah, I mean, I feel like we're too far beyond. Like, I would make the argument, I think the Rose Bowl should be the destination. I think we all have that opinion. That's never going to happen.
Yes.
It can't happen.
No.
You'd have to end the season at January 1st, and it's just not going to happen.
No.
Sorry.
No. Yes. Very quickly, again, not to talk about it. Again, if you want to look it up, go ahead, look it up. Me, Ryan, Matt, we all send our thoughts and prayers to everyone down there, New Orleans. Sad situation.
Great people, man. Great people.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll leave it at that. At this point, I'm sure everyone knows. But anyway, thoughts and prayers to everyone out there. So, anyways, so that's this most fun football game I've watched in all of the college football here in this Texas Arizona State game, and I've already thrown my fair share of shade at Burt because, man, he had a chance to win that game 2 separate times, and I knew he was going to miss it the second time when the announcers were like, well, he was 42 or I think it was like 40 of 44 within 40 yards or something. And as soon as they brought that up, I'm like, yeah, he's going to miss this. And man, Cam was a lot of fun, and I should maybe overhyped was the wrong verbiage for it. Everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid on him. I am not quite there yet because it is a very good running back class. But besides the point, he's one hell of a college football player, that's for sure. And he single-handedly kept this team in this game. I mean, so much that he won the Peach Bowl MVP and his team lost. But it was a very, very fun game to watch. Were you ever nervous at any point in this game?
No, it was no sweat. It truly was no sweat. I thought the refs would take it away from us. I thought they would give us a non-deserving targeting call.
It was not targeting. It was not.
Let's just discuss the targeting. I don't think it was targeting, but again, I'm a Texas Longhorns fan, so if you were rooting for Arizona State, I'm the last person you want to hear say those words. But I don't think he launched. I don't think he led with the crown, and I don't think the receiver was defenseless. The receiver is catching the ball and turning upfield. So I think of that as making a play on the football.
Yes.
And it was face mask to face mask, however you want to judge it. This is what I believe. Twitter was very loud this morning about how it's clearly targeting, or one side, or it's clearly not targeting. It was 50-50, and the refs didn't want to make that call. The refs took themselves out of the game and said, you know what? Let's let the teams decide. Let's let Kenny make this 4th and 5 decision and see if he's going to go for it. And if he gets it, he's probably going to win the game. That was the thing that I was stunned by, that he punted. And then, because, I mean, like you said, Burt Auburn gets another shot in an even better spot. Sark runs down 30 seconds instead of trying to get even better field position. I wanted to score 7 there. I was like, let's just go get in the end zone, please, real quick. Like, let's not leave it up to the kicker. They leave it up to the kicker. Doink. Arizona State comes out, scores 7, takes the lead. They get them to 4th and 13. Nobody's thinking about the targeting until Matthew Golden is wide open in the end zone on a cover 0 beater, which, if that was cover 0, man, Jesus Christ. There was not an ounce of pressure for Quinn Ewers. He just, and he made that play happen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's,
Yeah.
he was awesome to end that game. He really was. Yeah. I'm very wishy-washy on Quinn. I tweeted about how he wasn't good enough, and he wasn't for the first, for that stretch of second to early fourth quarter. But down the stretch, he was the better quarterback on the field, and that's the positivity and the potential I want to bring every single week is that this guy could be the best quarterback on the field, and if he's that, I believe in the rest of the roster to do their part, even if it gets iffy. And then Andrew Makuba, every time this year Clemson transfer, he makes a play every time they need. Every time they needed him to make a play. The only time he didn't make the play was when Gunnar Stockton had his eyes roll in the back of his head and didn't fumble the football. That was Makuba who laid that hit clean. And so, yeah, man, I've probably talked too much about this game, but Texas is moving on, and you cashed your 12.5. I don't know.
Ryan has his opinions. He has his.
He's ducking,
I'm not gonna say what he said because it hurts me as a Michigan fan. But he spelled out his team state. Refused to spell that out. But he was also talking about the last time it was for a division was actually the Bears versus Packers in 2018.
Well, that was in Chicago. I was specifically saying, what happened after that? They made the playoffs, right?
Who, the Bears?
Yeah.
That was the double doink.
Wait,
what?
You're saying
something happened?
Wait,
what?
Wait, you're saying he doinked it off?
Wait,
the
he
side
hit
of
it off
post
the
and then the
goal
upright.
post? What?
That's impossible.
No, that didn't happen.
That's impossible.
Anyways, one of my favorite bits.
Let's talk about your team, buddy. They killed it, dude.
Yeah. Hey, and they did exactly what they should have done against Michigan. They throw the ball to arguably
they had
the best wide receiver
40-plus yard touchdowns in the first half. Do you guys understand that? How ridiculous that is.
It's killer.
Jeremiah Smith took a little leak route behind the line of scrimmage, 45 yards against Oregon, who's the number one team in the country.
Yeah. It was.
I was kind of happy about this for Oregon, though. I was kind of Mr. Sneaky. This team kind of sucks.
I know.
I watched a few games against Wisconsin, and then that Idaho game was awesome. Week 1. It was kind of this game kind of sucks, dude. And they ended up. Ohio State's on this revenge tour, man. They get to be on the revenge tour against Tennessee. They get on the revenge tour against Oregon because they lost to him. Will Howard's 0-4 against Texas in his career at Kansas State. So, he lost to he's never lost to Quinn Ewers, though. He lost to Malik Murphy. Maybe he lost to Quinn Ewers the year before because, like I said, he's 0-4 against Texas. It's like if Jack Sawyer got an opportunity to face Michigan again, but he won't.
But he won't. Yeah, Jack 0-4. So, and we will save the majority of this talk because this.
Yeah, we'll save the semifinal talk for next week.
Yeah,
because I do want to talk about the
Friday,
bowl games.
And this is on.
There were some very exciting bowl games that I just want to chat about.
Agreed. Moving on to the Penn State Boise game. This game made me the most mad, and good for James Franklin. Like I said, Drew Aller's on absolute tear, but the way people on the internet watch this game and then looked at the box score and was like, Ashton Genty See this? This is your Heisman? Did you not watch the game? From the start of the game, they sacked the box with 8 people, and they just said, "Here you go. Have fun."
James
Have
Franklin
fun
said
doing
it on the
that.
sideline in that interview before the game. He's like, "We're gonna pack the box." He said it in his own way. Ben, can you guess how many missed tackles forced, according to PFF, he had against Penn State? Ashton Jeanty.
15.
His most this season, he had 20 against San Diego State and 17 against Washington State. How much did he have against Penn State?
19.
He had 16.
Yeah.
In a game where he only had 99 rush yards.
Yeah.
Like,
it made me upset. And then this off the back of the old Cam stuff, and you already talked about it, but it was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed it. I mean, we all knew Penn State was going to win, and bettors were upset that Boise didn't cash the 11
leak
and a
route.
half.
The leak route made it like it made it a game. I know a lot of people came out and looked at the score and said like, "Oh, I just want one fun college football game," and you got it. You got it at noon the next day, so like stop complaining. But like this was a fun game. This was what it was supposed to be. I thought Maddox Maxson was better than I expected.
He had a couple bad
Spencer-
throws, but yes.
Spencer Daniel, and that was kind of when he was trying to win the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like the quick game stuff was really working down the field. Those quick little spacing routes and things like that. The slants. Spencer Danielson lost this game though. The coach for Boise State, he started the game getting the ball, and on 4th and 3, he opted to kick a 45-yard field goal. When you're at 14-point or 12-point underdog, whatever they were, you can't settle for that field goal. You got to score 7 there. And I think it was like 4th and 4 or something like that in field goal range. Opts to take the kick, misses the kick. Aller strikes right away, and they were playing from a deficit the entire game. So if I think he just wanted to get out a lead, like, oh, we're 3-0, whatever it is, we have a lead. But overall, I thought he lost the game from that point.
No, I agree. And then moving on to the All-State Sugar Bowl game that was actually rescheduled for today because of everything that had happened. To be frank, I did not watch this game. If you guys can, I guess you couldn't tell. If you opened up the podcast, you would know. But I am not in my regular setup. I'm in Kentucky. Well, technically I'm in Indiana, but I'm basically in Kentucky. I'm on the border between Kentucky and Indiana visiting family. So I did not watch this game. Did you?
I did. Do you want me to talk about it?
Please.
This game was won between 17 seconds. Or like 50
Jeremiah
seconds.
Love.
17 points in 50 seconds. What happened is this game for the first quarter, 0-0, just exactly what I thought. It was just in a phone booth. Who's going to get 5 yards? If you get 5 yards on first down, you're set up for success. If you don't, it's going to be hard to move the ball. Exactly that. Arian Smith has a 60-yard deep bomb. Someone, I think it was one of the walk-ons, got in the way of the referee.
Yeah.
15-yard
38.
unsportsmanlike conduct. That cost them 7 points. If you want to put 7 on the board, in this game, I don't think you could. They make the kick 3-0. Riley Leonard has plays here and there. They find a way at the end of the half to make it 6-3. Gunnar Stockton, they go out, 40 seconds left. They drop back. No blindside pressure whatsoever. Fumble. First play touchdown, 13-3. Oh no. Notre Dame's getting the ball out of half, and they return a touchdown 20-3 in the span of a minute of game time. And that was it. That was the game. And the rest of the game was just running out the clock. Notre Dame had an excellent run out the clock drive. The thing is like, I didn't think Gunnar Stockton looked bad in this game. Like, I know everyone's going to say backup quarterback. The dude slung it around the yard and had some fun with it. It was just, it's his first start since he was in high school. So it wasn't that great. Like, I didn't think they were going to win the national championship. I predicted them to go to there because Kirby has been there, done that. But they were in this game, but you can't predict 17 points in a minute of game time to just really flip this game on its head, because this was a game that had 33 total points, and like I said, over half of them were scored in a span of a minute. So, is what it is. Notre Dame moves on. This is an awesome Final Four, man. It just is.
Yes. To recap, it's going to be Penn State and Notre Dame a week from today, and Texas and Ohio State that Friday. And I'll call it now. I've had the future for Ohio State since the beginning of the season, but I have both of these guys winning it all, and I firmly believe the winner of this game does win it all. But we'll break down these games with you guys next Wednesday. But at the Pop-Tart Bowl, because how could we not? It's a shame. This is not the way I would have hoped it was going to be.
Yeah, you guys have no idea, like, the depth I can dive into these bowl games, how much bowl content I consumed.
Dude, holy Toledo, that game was fun. That Toledo game versus Pitt, that was so much fun. I'm so here for that game.
I really tapped into bowl season, like, right after Saturday, right after the first rounds ended. December 23rd, so I'm going back far. The Potato Bowl, Northern Illinois, Fresno State was electric. They went to overtime, and it was a sweat for the underbetters because it was a game where a lot of guys are opting out, blah, blah, blah. Northern Illinois finds a way to win it. They scored like a field goal in the last second to tie it, to take it to overtime. They win it. South Florida, San Jose State, the night of Christmas Eve. Could you get any better? There was no other sports on. This game was electric in Honolulu. Goes to overtime, goes to 5 overtimes. They get to the 2-point conversion off on Christmas Eve, going into Christmas. Could you think of a better way to lead into Christmas than South Florida and San Jose State in the Hawaii Bowl? No, you cannot. South Florida won that one. Pittsburgh, Toledo. This was the one you were talking about. The game above Sports Bowl. It will be remembered for a lifetime. Nobody wanted to win the football game. And then they went to the 2-point conversion off. I think they made like 7 2-point conversions in a row. There was also a play by Pitt on 3rd and goal from the 1. From 3rd and goal from the 1, I think they had like a tight end throw it to a running back, or the other way around. A running back threw it to a tight end and just completely airmailed it on the 1-yard line. Just classic bowl season. And instead, they kick a field goal on 4th and 1 from the goal to go. They could not leave Detroit in the winter, man. It just is what it is. It's played at Ford Field if you didn't get the reference. Rutgers, Kansas State was a fun game. Kansas State comes soaring back. Dylan Edwards, the Colorado transfer, he had some big scores in this one. Harold Fannin in the 68
Arkansas
Ventures Bowl.
Oh my goodness.
Harold Fannin had 17 catches for 213 yards, one touchdown. He's a tight end. He's not a receiver. He had those numbers. Syracuse killed Washington State. Oklahoma Navy, man, that was awesome. I was like, Navy coming back from 14 down, and then Oklahoma going for 2 in that moment, saying we're not going to overtime, we're winning it on the field, and they didn't win it on the field. That was pretty cool. The military academies have won the last like 4 or 5 armed forces bowls. They extend that streak in this one. Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt. This one was just styles meeting from the SEC and the ACC, both running quarterbacks. Just,
Whoa, pause. There's a Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. I didn't realize that existed. That's beautiful. Can we get a Matt Hartman Bowl going one of these days?
Dude, I'm going to own a bowl one day. I am going to own a bowl one day. Texas Tech, Arkansas, that one I didn't really watch, but hey, Taylon Green scored a touchdown, and Texas Tech, their quarterback Will Hammond threw for 200 something yards. I bet that. That was pretty cool. USC 2-0 against the SEC this year, and like 4-8 against everybody else. Whatever. That didn't make sense, but hey, we're here for it. They beat Texas A&M in the Las Vegas Bowl. Pop-Tarts Bowl, we mentioned it. Iowa State wins. Cam Ward opted out of the second half. If you're mad about that, you can be, but at the same time,
It really is a thing of beauty, though. Just
he could have not played.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. Do you want him to not play the entire thing? Fine. Do you think he quit on his team? Fine. I don't care. It's the Pop-Tart Bowl. I don't care. I watched a cinnamon roll Pop-Tart get toasted. That's what you come for the Pop-Tart Bowl. You don't come for the football storylines.
Well, the same thing with the Cheez-It Bowl. You see people got married on the field of that game?
That
and
was
the Cheez-It-
that was electric.
And
That
the
was electric.
Cheez-It was the minister.
We'll
Like,
get to that
year-
game because there was some stuff on that game that was awesome.
Yes, the European mind cannot comprehend this right now.
BYU killed Colorado. Ben had some tears of joy. Army covered one last time. North Carolina quit on their new coach, Bill Belichick, heartbreaking. NC State quit on me against East Carolina, heartbreaking. Nebraska won their bowl game. That was pretty cool. That's Missouri beat Iowa on a last-second field goal. The Fiesta Bowl happened. We mentioned that. Michigan owns Alabama. If you don't get what I mean, January 1st, 2024 started with Michigan beating Alabama. December 31st, 2024 ended with Michigan beating Alabama. What a wondrous bookend of a season of just a year.
And we'll get into the impact this had, but I'll tell you this, Matt. This game single-handedly is responsible for me not being the most outrageous son of a gun when it comes to quarterback rankings. This is the game that caused me to flip back to being a normal individual, and I'll leave it at that. So
he had like 4 turnovers on like 5 straight plays. It was kind
it was bad. Yeah, it was rough.
Louisville, Washington, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Des Williams for Washington, just a name to keep an eye on. Watching them next year, I'm very excited to watch what he does for Washington because he was electric in this game against a 9-4 Louisville team. So it was a real deal team. He had not started that many games this year. He made some plays. 26 for 32, 374 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Gave him a chance to win the game. Baylor, LSU rolls. Nussmeier continues to put draft stock for 2026.
Gotta love it.
South Carolina, Illinois, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
Did you hear the Illinois players talking about the South Carolina players thought they were playing Syracuse?
Yes. Yeah. There was so much
Egregious
storyline in
stuff.
this. There was so much storyline in this game. I could not believe how entertaining this game was. All right. So if you probably saw Brett Bielema and Shane Beamer, the head coach. Shane Beamer did a play on a kick return. He did a throwback kick return, and he did this pose. He did the T. And that's a way of, it's a fair catch. But he didn't do this. This is a fair catch signal. You have to wave the arms. He told the refs beforehand, we're going to do this trick play. Don't call it a fair catch. Okay. Bielema didn't forget. And when one of his players was hurt by the sideline of South Carolina, he did the pose. And, oh my God, was it awesome. Because I recognized what he was doing while watching it. And I jumped out of my seat. I went, oh my God. And then they showed Beamer being held back. And Beamer was like, I was like, send him over there. Because Bielema was not a small dude.
No.
Bielema, he
Big guy.
played... He played lineman at Iowa, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
He's built to fight you, Shane Beamer. I'm sorry. And then Beamer called him Bush League, this, that, and the other. And unless your favorite SEC hypothetical team is Ole Miss, they got thumped on New Year's Eve because Alabama and South Carolina both lose to the Big Ten. The Big Ten is on top. Suck it, Sean McDonough, for what you said on the Indiana game. I don't know if you heard that, Ben. Did you hear that?
What was it?
McDonough went on, I mean, this is just boys talking ball on a podcast, but McDonough was like, I don't think the Big Ten is as good as the SEC, and like started rattling it off.
Clown. Effing
And he
clown.
just went,
what
he
is.
kind of railed into it. And then January 1st, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Arizona State, we mentioned it. And then Ole Miss just beat Duke. Duke didn't have their quarterback. Lane needed this game.
The way he was tweeting all over, that was egregious.
He needed this game. And I'm so thankful for Lane Kiffin on Twitter. Because, I'm a person, I'm not taking what anything he's saying is seriously. Because I look at his other tweets. He doesn't care about you, and he doesn't care about his tweets. When he tweeted about Penn State, that might have been the funniest thing I've ever seen. He just started all caps, "Let's go Penn State." That was awesome to me. It for no reason did he have to do that, but he created content for himself. And then when the Tennessee game happens, when his precious SEC rivals get blown out, he was silent. It was tremendous twittering from Lane Kiffin this whole season.
As I said to you, and for numerous reasons, and I said it to you for a different reason, Lane Kiffin has me in a chokehold. What's it not to like about this guy?
He's
Lane
awesome.
Kiffin is actually the GOAT.
And then just one more. We have a few more bowl games. Just a few more. You don't have to watch them, but just keep in mind, Texas State, North Texas. North Texas isn't going to have their quarterback, Chandler Morris. He was in the portal.
We are
Minnesota,
a Texas State pod, by the way. I just would like that to be known.
Facts. Bobcats.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Virginia Tech. Hey, 2 Power 4 conferences. Let's see what they're about. Max Brosmer, he's going to go in the NFL draft. He's pretty fun.
Hey, big drones guy.
And then drones. Yeah, drones could be playing in this game, and I think he's returning back to school, so that's a good thing. Yes. And then the last one, I mean, come on. How else would you want to end bowl season before we crown a national championship? Because after this game, we just have the semis and the national championship. Buffalo and Liberty. Conference USA against MAC to end bowl season. Are you kidding me? Saturday, January 4th at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Central Time. Come on, get up. Get up for Buffalo Liberty. I'm fired up. I'm so excited for Buffalo Liberty now. This is an awesome podcast.
Really is a thing of beauty. And because I can. Because Ryan would not want to do this. Because he is sleepy.
Let's go.
We're doing it. And we restarted it. I took the crown from the early part of the podcast. But, we thought it was the new year. Matt's joining. We're resetting the record. Yeah, new year, new us. And, he is not here. And that's on his teeth. This is going towards the record, buddy. I hope he's watching. I'm praying to everything that he is watching.
It's gonna be Dexter now.
Yeah, right. You know what? Just for him. That would have been funny if it was. But you go for it.
All right, so AFC, right? No, NFC.
NFC. Nope, NFC.
NFC offense, who's kind of tall. 6'5". Garrett Bradbury.
Wait, are we on the hard mode? We're on hard. We didn't even play easy. What is this? Excuse me. Okay, yeah, we'll skip the whole shenanigans. So who'd you say?
Garrett Bradbury, is he still on?
Yes.
The Vikings.
The Vikings, I think so.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Just wanted to get the O-line. I didn't care about the division too much.
Older O-line, man.
Yeah.
But he's smaller.
Oh, is this one
Which is a
easy?
shame.
I have one O-lineman in my head. It might be him. If you think of older linemen.
It's gonna drive me insane. How do you spell Zeitler?
Zei.
And it can't be him because he's a lion. So it was a dumb guess.
Okay, it's not my guy. Okay.
Dumb guess.
Is it Lane Johnson?
No, Lane is too big. That's why I didn't guess Lane. Lane is 6'6". Yeah.
I was just thinking the number was matching up.
Yeah. Lane's a bit.
My
too
original was
hefty.
What was it? It's Trent Williams.
Never eat south.
Oh,
Angel fit. Oh no, but the division doesn't fit.
maybe I know who it is. Yeah, he's a Raider.
Oh, he's a Raider now. What?
Jake
Most.
Matthews.
Oh, good pick. I think he's too old though. At least he feels like he's too old.
Damn.
Wow,
right
he's only
on.
32. I thought he was older than that.
So it's got to be the West.
Has to be someone in the West. Something about it. There's a Ram. Something about the Rams signing old dudes really stands out to me.
Yeah.
Is it Humphreys?
DJ Humphries? He's a Chief now.
Is he a Chief now?
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Is
I'm at
Jackson with the Seahawks?
You know what? We'll just start throwing out guesses.
I mean, he's not there
Well.
anymore. Damn. This is just we're naming 32-year-old offensive linemen in the NFC West.
This isn't just like elite level polls from us that we need at this point. I don't know what is.
Yeah, this is evil for us.
It really is. No, this is bad.
Because like they don't
Bad.
classify. If I knew IOL or tackle,
Yeah. How many
Just
guesses are we at? We're at 6. Okay. Let's try to narrow this sucker down.
Rob Havenstein. Damn, I got the
How's it?
age, man.
I was gonna do
He's
dots.
6'8". Man, there's just 32-year-old linemen.
Which is just like something of just wildness. This, it has. The issue is my head went to the Rams, and just something about the Rams having old, like offensive linemen is just really a thing of beauty, if you ask me.
Did the Cardinals no? It Paris Johnson, Jonah Williams.
Oh! I think this guy might be too old.
Ooh, that's a good pull.
Too old.
So it's not Arizona either. All right, so
It's not Arizona.
we're narrowing it down.
Okay, you want to? Okay, so you can either. So this is what me and Ryan can do. So you can continue to guess, and just do it, or we can both wave the white flag, and I can give you information, and we can get us there.
I mean, I want.
It won't count towards the record.
Yeah, if
but-
I got a shot at the win,
The first victory of the new year, if you ask me.
man. So it's got to be a Seahawk. It's got to be a Niner. It's not Trent Williams, who's the pretty old lineman.
It's yeah, and every guy I think of on that Niners offensive line is young.
Like Puny, Colt McKivitz. Oh man.
I can give you okay. So I waved the white flag. I don't have it. I know who it is now. It was someone I would have never guessed. I'll tell you that.
Can I get like guard or tackle?
Neither.
So center.
Correct.
Okay. Well, it can't be the Seahawks because they have two. They have Oluwatimi.
Yeah, Oluwatimi.
So it's got to be a center for the Niners. They normally Isn't their center like Jake Brendel? Is that his name? Can't be him. Yeah, all right. If you know who it is.
Do you want me to tell you who it is?
Yes.
You're gonna beat yourself up.
It is Jake Brendel. He's 32. That's crazy. I didn't know he was 32.
No, dude, yeah, I don't even know who Jake Brendel is, to be frank. I mean, I might be ousting myself. Phone a
He's a
friend.
starting
Oh, no.
center.
Matt Pryor. No, well, it wouldn't be Matt Pryor, you ding dong. You ding dong. It's bad offensive lineman. That's what Matt Pryor is. Anyways, Matt, any final thoughts here before we get off?
I hope Ryan doesn't duck next
week.
week because we're going to talk about the semifinals. Loaded show next week, guys. We're going to be active on the TikTok. I'll probably make a TikTok about one of the games on Saturday because there's no Thursday game. I've kind of been prime on the but all right.
Ryan claims he knew it was Brendel because he was talking to his manager about the Niners.
I didn't know Brendel was 32.
Brendel
Brendel came up like in my head when we thought about NFC West. I just didn't know he was that old.
We said it's
But
on. So
it is on.
he is confirmed.
Yeah, loaded
not
show next
ducking-
week, guys. We're gonna have the
confirmed.
draft order. We're gonna have the playoff matchups, and I think we're gonna break down the playoff matchups.
Yes, we
That'd
will.
be pretty cool. And yeah, man. And then we're gonna have college football to break down. I mean, this is great time of the year to be
Really is the
subscribed,
best.
to like the podcast, and to go find the TikTok where we're all gonna be posting stuff and keep this show rolling. So
Yeah,
man,
all above
that's-
all above our head. By the way, if you guys wanna find any of that stuff.
yeah, yep,
So
yep.
yeah, loaded like Matt said, very loaded show. Ryan will not be ducking. Confirmed. He also confirmed he
not
ducked.
ducking.
Yeah. Confirmed not ducking from him next week. But it is going to be a very fun. But I will. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you to all of our sponsors: Uppercuts Grooming, Regional Radio Sports, and Spotify for podcasters. And we will see you, wonderful, wonderful people, next week, Wednesday. Back to the usual scheduled day, by the way. But have a good week, guys.